Join us, MrTruck.com, for truck reviews, trailer reviews, and accessory reviews. Well, we're almost to the end. The end, my friend, almost to the lake. We're just outside Coney. Yes, here I am. Wind's blowing too hard, we couldn't use the tripod or anything else. So there's me. Alessandra, how much horsepower?
375.
Okay, Lillian, how much fuel, mile gallons per fuel?
40.
Great. Eric Cameron, how much torque?
470.
Awesome. And this is our review of the 4xe Wrangler Unlimited out by the lake, or one lake, a little lake. Cool. You guys like the convertible?
Yes. Yeah.
Cool. We're live. Yeah, I've got the 4xe Jeep Wrangler Rubicon Unlimited, the hybrid. So much to learn about this. It's so cool with the lockers and a disconnecting front sway bar. It's really off-roady thing. Now this, I'm gonna turn it on. It's been weird. I'm pulling trailers. I always turn my headlights on and I can't do it. It shuts all my dash lights off. I've tried all the configurations with the rollers and everything else, and it won't do it. So it shows, so I have to shut my lights off and hope the trailer never comes unplugged. I didn't find a tow haul mode on this. Maybe I'm not looking in enough places. It has an awful lot of stuff. But anyway, I guess I can shut my radio off. Got the air on, and this is supposed to go, let's see, it's like 22 miles, 21 miles on just electric alone, and that's what I want to see, how far I can go with this trailer. The trailer's under 3,000. This thing is rated to tow 3,500, and so I'm a little under that. So since I'm under that, I don't have to have brakes on my trailer, which I don't, so I'm not using the Kurt Echo on this trip. But it shows here, yeah, somewhere I saw it on here that it would do 21 miles electric, and it shows 22 on the gauge. Set back to 0. And I charged this up. That's another story I'll tell you about. But anyway, I had trouble charging it, and I learned how it worked. I read the manual on this one finally. But it's got 3 settings: hybrid, electric, and e-save. So I had that e-save coming out of here. The motor never kicked in. Usually when I hit the e-save, the engine wraps up and comes on. So it tries to save your battery, which is good. So what I wanted to do is save a battery so I got on the highway and then put it on full electric. So it's on hybrid now because it's not doing anything on e-save at all. But anyway, I tried. But yeah, I've only got 92% of battery. When I had it plugged in, I finally got to 100%, and then by the time, I backed out, turned on the AC, I got down to 99, and then by the time I backed into the trailer, it got clear down to 97. I guess the air took it to 98%. Went from 100 to 98, then hooked up the trailer, now to 97. Now just driving the mile out here in e-save, which didn't do anything, down to 92%. So I better hurry before I run out of juice. But anyway, we'll see how far I can go, pulling a little less than 3,000 pounds. 3,500 is the max. It's on run, so I guess I'm ready to rock and roll. We'll put it on electric. There we go. Well, this being a soft top, which is, you can get the hard tops, it's a little louder in here because you don't have insulation up here. We're going to try to show you how to use this now on pure electric. See how quiet it got? Man, that's awesome. Climbing up on the highway here. we'll see just how far I can go. Already shows them down to 21. Whoa, look at the size of the battery. That's what's under the second row seats. Giant battery. Too cool. Wow. Big. So I'm going to accelerate slowly because you accelerate fast, kicks on the engine. And I want to see, that's the whole future of these electric trucks. This is a body on frame. I can call it a truck if I want to, dadgummit. But anyway, it's towing capacity. You know, they all have all these great things to say about how they perform, but none of them have great towing capacity, and they're doing this to semis too, so you know those things have got to have at least 300 miles of range. So maybe the whole trailer is nothing but battery, I don't know, but it'll work on that. But this one, it's got a big battery. It weighs like 300 pounds. It's 17.3 kilowatt hours, which is pretty good. Now this one is really interesting because you can use the electric off-road. You can use it anytime you want to till you run out of juice. Put it on a hybrid and it works like everybody else's hybrid, or it keeps charging the battery as needed. And I like that. I think the hybrids are the future. I mean, you know, I know they're working on electrics on everybody, but I really like the hybrid idea where you do have a backup engine, so you don't have to keep looking for a plug-in somewhere. I plugged this into my house on, it was 110 volts, and we got 15 amp breakers on it. And I learned something. There's this plug that comes with it, and it starts off being green, and it has a yellow and then a red when it's done. It's got flashing indicators by where you plug in the cord to the Jeep, and then it also up on the dash it has like 5 lights that go off as you charge it. So you start off with 1, and it's on the left side as you look at the front of the Jeep, and then it goes all the way up to 5 when you're full. So that way you don't have to go out there and stare at the gauge each time. That's kind of convenient. But anyway, and it said in the owner's manual, now that I read it, when I was trying to charge it up, you know, it said the Jeep claims it can do it in 16 hours. If you had 240 volts, it does it in like 2 hours. So I was thinking 16 hours, but the yellow light comes on the charger, the little capacitor, whatever, it's on the cord. And when it goes yellow, that means there's either got interrupted on the power or something happened. So it just says in there to unplug and plug it in. And that did help. I did that twice. Maybe now I can get it down closer to maybe 18 hours, but it took 20 hours to charge just to 100%. So you got to go with the 240 or you're going to spend all night charging everything. So anyway, the trailer's swaying just a little. I've got my Honda side-by-side 500 Pioneer on the back, and that plus my ATV trailer is 2,900 something, so I'm right under 3. So I got 500 pounds more if I want to get a bigger trailer to put the brake controller in the plug like I do on these vehicles with no brake controller. But this is a very interesting vehicle. But to me, everybody complains about the highway ride. To me, it's just like the Bronco. I mean, that's what you're going to expect with bigger tires and, an off-roading machine. I don't know what else you would expect. So I'm not complaining about the ride. To me, it's a normal ride for an off-road vehicle. But there's a lot of interesting things about this. We're still on electricity. It says it's got 16 more miles to go. 66%, and we've only gone 3 miles. So I'll be tickled if this thing gets over 15 miles. See, that shows I'm getting 24.2. That's a combined total, mostly that's electric, because this thing is supposed to get some unbelievable amount. They have a whole new way of rating it. It's 20 miles to the gallon combined city and highway, but with the electric motor, this 8-speed automatic, but it shows, however they measure combined electric and gas, they call it MPGe, shows 49. And that's incredible if you could do that, like running a hybrid. That would be very incredible. My Ford Fusion, the only hybrid I've had, was getting 45, and it was a rocket. This is a rocket too, and you put this in all electric, you're not pulling anything, you got all 100% torque, it flat out gets up and scoots. I love that about, what electric motors can do for you. Very fast. if I can make it. So I don't know. We'll find out. But then tomorrow I might try to take it off-road, try to do as much stuff as I can with it, learn all I can. Very interesting vehicle. You know, it's basically off-road. That's why you don't get any power seats no matter how high up you go. And this is the Rubicon 4xe Unlimited. It's got the little blue decals, blue tow hooks, recovery hooks. And it's got a hitch on it, and it's plugged in. So I've got blinkers, I've got all the stuff I want, just no brakes on this light of a trailer. I could, if I put it on a bigger trailer, I'd definitely use my Echo. So I have brake controller on my phone. 12 miles to go. And that's the problem. I know TFL did that Tesla thing, and I'm not sure if it was a 3,000 pound trailer, whatever it was, it got like 100 miles. But this is a 4:10 axle ratio, so that doesn't help it. It's not a fuel mileage axle ratio, it's a rock crawling axle ratio. And I'm only doing 50. This is a 65 mile an hour speed limit. There's no reason to go crazy. I'm just trying to see what it would do around 50 miles an hour. Yep, looks like I've got 11 miles. It's cool. The fuel mileage it has on the top side, it's electric, and the bottom it's gas. So you really keep track of what's going on. 41% battery, that's, I mean, I don't know. You're not going to tow far with it, I can tell that. But, you know, if your job's 30 miles away, you get there, you plug it in, because I'm sure everybody's going to be plugging stuff in. That's the way it's supposed to go. Jeep's supposed to put a bunch of their plug-ins all over the country for free for your Jeep users. Tesla's got them all over the interstate. The city's been putting them in, so the infrastructure is getting better for your charging stations. This has got the 2-liter turbo. Is the engine backed up to the hybrid? It's a spunky little engine. It's a 4-cylinder. Hopefully tomorrow Dan, Mr. Big Truck, will help me do some off-road. We'll take this top and fold it back. It's like a convertible. Okay. Let's see what happens. Shows I got 32%, 8 miles, pure electric, which is really cool. I mean, you guys saw TFL's off-road test, and it was so quiet, climbing rocks and low range, which of course only got 3 miles. But what do you expect? Low range, all those gears, you're just really chugging along with all kinds of power and torque. That would be interesting, rock climbing without listening to the motor. Of course, we all like our V8 sounds and all of our exhaust tones, so it's something to get used to. But I think it'd be cool to be up there in the mountains just enjoying the wildlife without having the motor noise.
Don't go away, Mr. Truck.tv. We'll be right back.
I want to talk to you about towing and handling. Now that I got my mail, I'm so happy. Push the button, starts right up, says ready. Go Freddy. But towing 3,000 pounds or right under. The handle's fine. I don't have weight distributing hitch on it because I'm not really required to until it's 5,000 pounds. And I think I loaded the ATV pretty well centered. Just the weight of the engine's closer to the axles. It's a single axle. You're doing a little different than you do a double axle one. But I haven't really seen sway. I mean, you can steer it funny and cause a little bit of sway on the trailer, but I wouldn't say that's typical. But if you're driving like you're supposed to, straight down the road, that's not a problem. So handling's fine, acceleration is fine. Because this hybrid, if I had any juice left, I'd put it in electric and show you some acceleration, because that does really well. But even in hybrid, you know, the 2 engines combined, that's a lot of power. Because actually it is 335 horsepower and 470 torque. It's a torquey rascal. That's so cool about hybrids, about electric. Because the engine, electric motors put out 100% torque. So whatever these are, this is 17.3 kilowatt hours. it's got plenty of power using both of them if there's any juice left. And I don't have much. I'm at -1 or whatever. But I mean, that's battery power. You still have the motors going in hybrid. The engine can give them enough juice to run, I think, is how that equation works. But no problem accelerating 3,000 pounds, of course. So power-wise, I'm sure this thing could tow 7,000 pounds. But, you know, the springs aren't rated for that. This is a 5-link suspension front and rear. And these off-roads, and this was not jacked up much. If I got 35-inch tires and one bigger program than this, it would about 1.5 inch lift with a 35 if you get that option on a Rubicon. This has 33s, and these are KO2s from BF Goodrich. So, you know, when you're dealing with towing, you got a lot of things to figure besides tire rating, suspension, axle ratings, and with all this being a heavier vehicle, that's why they got it down there. Because just without the battery alone, you can get closer to 4,000 pounds. You just lost that weight. But you know, like I say, this is a recreational vehicle. It's a sport vehicle. It's a vehicle for your, you know, your fun, your activities on the weekend and all that. So it's not a big towing machine. You can get the Grand Cherokee L for that. But anyway, so I thought I'd tell you that the handling's fine. It's not squatting at all, really. So it's a fun little Jeep. I bought my first Jeep this year. That's what I got to do. I got to put them side by side and get a picture of that. Well, look at that. The first Wrangler and the current Wrangler. The 1987 and the 2021. What a ways they have gone. They are cool. So that's quite a span of years. You know, Jeep's been around since the 40s. You know, CJ5, CJ2. I used to use a CJ2 at a feedlot I worked at, belonged to my coach, and I would use that to run the bunks, where I drive along the feed bunks at feedlot and see how the cattle were eating, if I needed to add more or less to the next batch of food we gave them. That little CJ2, which I think is what it was a great thing. It never used oil, and it was from the 40s. It was a 47, little 4-banger. The thing was bulletproof. Just jump in and go, jump in and go. Don't even worry about it. So that's the heritage of these Jeeps. They're still doing well. They're still very, very capable. But now it's got some competition. You know, the 4Runner is always trying to compete with it, and there's nothing wrong with the 4Runner. But this always had, you know, more options, lockers and all that. Now the Bronco, they got their eyeball on this. We'll see how that works out. Wish I would have got these at the same time, but I didn't have the Bronco first, then this. So I haven't gone off-roading with it. We'll see how that works out. Hopefully do that tomorrow with Dan. But yeah, I will see you later. Well, I'm up to speed now. I am driving 65, the speed limit, hauling this trailer. It's getting a little bit of sway back there, 65, which tells me that I should have put the weight distributing hitch on here. So I know the weight's balanced, but a good weight distributing hitch has sway control in it. Like this is an Anderson on here. If I would have hooked it up, it actually has a neoprene bushing, absorbs the shock plus friction in the cone where the ball goes down. And if it would have been like what I have on my Gen Y hitch, an equalizer, that's friction in the L bracket on the trailer that controls sway. So if I steer straight, there is no sway. If I just get a little off, you can tell it's moving. Note to myself, even on these small trailers, it doesn't hurt to hook up a weight distributing hitch. Lesson I've learned on heavy duties, like say 3/4 ton. In that heavy duty full size class, if you're driving a any time, and having a weight distributing hitch with a good sway control could be a big deal on your control. So I use weight distributing hitch quite often. I'm wishing now I would have hooked it up on here. It's just sitting there. I just would have had to put the right hitch on and go to town. 31%. That was a 50. We'll have to go 50 here. The speed limit's only 55. So we'll drive 50 with this little under 3,000 pound trailer. I need to look up with a regular Wrangler, especially with that new V8, the 392, whatever it is, that 6.4 Hemi. It's probably got a much higher towing capacity. Not that these are machines you would want to tow with on a normal basis, but you know, with these costs, it's going to could be a daily driver. It may need what you pull your boat to the lake, your jet skis, your ATVs, your small RV, small horse trailer. So, you know, that's the category. It's a lifestyle truck made for the great outdoors. I love the blue stitching in here, the Rubicon stitching on the seats. It's a nice contrast with, of course, it matches the decals and the recovery hooks. I don't know why I'm calling them recovery hooks. For all my decades, you called them tow hooks. Well, they're called recovery hooks. These manufacturers like to change the name of things, so it's less scary, I guess, to people. That insulated part in front of your dash between you and the engine. You know, you hear a little bit of the trailer ganging, and you hear, you know, kind of a wind noise on the canvas roof, and that would be normal. There's no insulation, so like hardtop would be quieter. Wow, 23%, 6 miles. Oh, the engine tried to kick on there, went a little too fast. That's what you got to watch on these. If you try to accelerate too much, it'll kick it on the gas. It's trying to help you, even though you don't want any help. So it came on for about 3 seconds. Still showing 20% in 5 miles. I'm going to have to head toward Jackson Lake. Yep, I imagine the percentage of loss is higher as you get closer to battery emptiness. Pulling the trailer. I can understand that. 14%, 4 miles. It's showing. We've gone 10.7 miles so far on just battery. 1 mile to go. 12.1 is what shows how many electric miles I went, which is about half what everybody else is getting. Most of them are getting over 21. They're getting like 24 to 27. So from my estimations, we're getting about half the electric mileage as you would without a trailer, which is actually decent, because most of those don't. Most of those, you lose 70 to 80% of your juice pulling a trailer. And here, looks to me, wow, it shows the combined of that little bit of help I had from the engine. My combined gas mileage, fuel mileage MPGe is 30.1. Whoa, wait a minute, it was still 1%. I guess it goes on forever at 1%. Oh, I'm hearing noise. Okay, too low. Yep, went under. So there we are, the official miles with this trailer, 3,000 pound trailer, just about. It was 12.6. We have a number which is very close to half what it would get without a trailer. Not going to complain about that. Make sure, yeah, it switched to hybrid all on its own. So 12.6. That's one for the record books.